A pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to Survival of No Limits. And well, guess what? More topics, more content coming your way right away. Let's get on with number 66. That I wish would be home renovations. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like that question's just never getting old right now. So let's go ahead and ask it yet again. What does this have to do with survivability? The answer is pretty clear, simple, and pretty personifying, if you don't mind. Home renovation is without a doubt a pretty risky business in and of itself. Yet people do it all the time, whether if it is in fact a necessity in order to keep their home in good shape, or if it is something that they feel like doing for fun. Whether they do it on their own or they handle it with professionals, then well, it's up to them. But anybody can do home renovation, by any means. I, of course, have had my share, to where I've painted entire houses from the inside and outside, and I've also gone ahead to replace certain things, including, but not limited to, bricks and mortar, which do in fact comprise certain parts of certain houses, and it is in fact rare of a treatment to have an entire house coated in brick and mortar on the outside. And then of course there are times where I've had to help with some things, like replacing windows and fixing up hinges on doors. And then of course there were times where I've also had to do a lot of lock changing and locksmith based tactics. And who could ever forget? I've also had to use a lot of certain equipment, from buzz saws and ladders to certain other things that have happened. Of course, it's also really well known to do a lot of lawn care and landscaping on the outside, because after all, it's not just with the building itself, but it's also the presentation that can happen in the land around it. Whether if it's a small section or it basically surrounds the entire place, it's probably more or less about the kind of property that you own, which it seems to be debatable, but a lot of people tend to know exactly what kind of land they seem to get their hands on whenever they have their money put on a certain section of property that's on a certain section of town, village, or city, or province, or unincorporated area, or elsewhere. Home improvement is without a doubt quite a business that still rolls on to this day. And that goes without talking about a little bit of the television show with Tim Allen. Well, I guess that's not going to age very well, considering what's going on. But you know what? I feel like it was pretty good to remember something like that. Home Improvement. Tim Allen, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and all that good stuff. 1994 to 1990 something. So, other than it being a pretty big appearance in pop culture, Home Improvement in real life, however, does happen to be not a comedy, not a show, not a piece of trickery, not even, well, something to laugh about. Because let's just say that accidents and even deaths have taken place during some things. Whether somebody is using a piece of equipment improperly, or whether or not the house itself happens to have problems of its own. It could be pretty variable, but whatever it might be, whether if it's something that collapses, or a piece of rubble that somehow breaks free from the rest of the house, the ceiling, the floor, the walls, doesn't really seem to matter, because after all, accidents do happen, but they can in fact prove to be lethal, no matter the cost. And so with that in mind, let's just say that not all cases of home improvement prove to be safe, effective, and, well, non-time consuming. After all, it does take time to make something look, feel, and sound as good as possible. according to someone's tastes, according to someone's reputation, and according to someone's money, it's always a likelihood that no matter what kind of home improvement you're trying to do, no matter what kind of project it is, no matter how it's done, when it's done, what is done, anything can happen, good or bad. So it is worth noting that unless, of course, you want to do something like this, then it would be best to not do so at all. Losing a life would not necessarily mean that it's worth all the hard work that you did. So, that's just what that's all about, and more importantly, that's just what's going to settle all this for good. That is, of course, until the next subject of mine comes into play, which I will be talking about pretty soon. But until then, if you want to see more, go down to my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.